It seems like Donald Trump has stopped at nothing when it comes to covering up his relationship with and the crimes that he committed alongside Jeffrey Epstein. But there is, in fact, one thing that Donald Trump so far has held back on doing, and it's shaking up his administration. It doesn't matter how many times Pam Bondi screws up or how many scandals that Kash Patel creates. Donald Trump has been somewhat loyal. Now it's to protect himself, so the truth doesn't come out, or people don't focus on the scandal. But that's all about to change because a new bombshell has hit this Epstein cover-up, and it is bringing the attention that Donald Trump is dreading. We are going to get into it, all the fall guy who is dropping a resignation bombshell, and so much more. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this bombshell blowing up this Epstein cover-up, I want to start with the latest updates from Congressman Jamie Raskin.
The privacy and the confidentiality of the victims. So these judges are very strictly implementing the legislative intent behind the statute.
We're seeing today Donald Trump try to run that play again that he tried to run in the Epstein file 6 months ago, telling reporters that story's dead, that story's over. He's trying to do the same thing now with that second missile strike that some legal experts are calling murder in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about self-protection. The same kinds of things he, of course, accused other presidents of doing, he's actually doing. It's a massive projection, and it's the same thing here. I mean, he was the one who went out with all of his people and said, we want to see the full Epstein files. They're the ones who promoted the whole QAnon story about a power elite trafficking in children and human flesh. And what do you know? That power elite is the one that Donald Trump knew integrally well because he was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. And the truth is going to come out now under this law. And there is a tremendous momentum behind the disclosure, not just of the grand jury records, but of all of the discovery materials. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of documents that are going to be released.
You know, I keep flashing forward these days, and I'm flashing forward a year, which I shouldn't do. I shouldn't try to be predictive in politics, especially in this era. But with all the polls indicating that the Democrats are going to win the House of Representatives in the next election, I'm imagining that year from now, when you're taking over the chairmanship of the House Judiciary Committee, and what you would have the power to investigate, including what is going on with all the contracts that are being awarded in the immigration sector and the imprisoning of people involved in all of these immigration maneuvers that the Trump administration is doing. You will be in the position to conduct those investigations.
Well, let's hope so. Of course, I'm out on the road every weekend, Lawrence. I'm in Ohio, Florida, Texas, New Jersey. We're campaigning hard, and these amazing victories you're seeing around the country.
It is obvious that a cover-up is happening right now. And I think one of the biggest signs that there is a cover-up is amid all of the scandal, all of the failure, all of the screw UPS, what Megyn Kelly or Meghan R. Kelly would deem a PR disaster. She doesn't care about the innocent children who had their lives destroyed by Trump and Epstein. She just cares about the president's PR. During all of this, there has been no fall guy, no one blamed, no one fired. And I think that's because Trump knows how much attention that would bring that. That person would then have to speak out. Why did they fail in their role releasing the Epstein files? How could one person have so much control? A million questions would be raised if Kash Patel was let go, if Pam Bondi was fired. But there's someone just right below them who is about to face some very tough questions himself, as it is looking like the end for the podcaster turned deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, and it is once again creating real controversy and questions in the Epstein cover-up. Trump's fall guy over botched Epstein files handling revealed. Donald Trump has reportedly zeroed in on FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino as the likely fall guy over the Epstein files fiasco. Bongino could be out any day. according to Rachel Bade's Inner Circle Substack newsletter, which reports that the former Secret Service agent and Fox News host angered senior staff with his handling of the saga over FBI documents related to the late pedophile. BAE writes that Bongino clashed with Attorney General Pam Bondi and refused to show up to work for a time, adding, "The expectation is that he'll leave eventually." Bongino, who was appointed to the post in March, had previously pushed Epstein conspiracy theories and called for full disclosure when he was a MAGA podcaster. The report comes amid a spate of insider intrigue stories that Bade reports. Trump, 79, has privately mocked firing Christie. "I love Christie," the president told a top aide when asked about Homeland Security Secretary Christie Noem, according to former political White House reporter in her account. Trump publicly defended his embattled principles this week, but adds that despite noisy speculation about broader firings, Trump is not planning a cabinet clear-out, and the rumored shakeup may amount to just one ouster Bongino, who of course is not even a cabinet member. Now, there's been a lot of talk of firings, and obviously there was so much turnover in the first Trump administration. But why I think the Bongino shakeup will likely be a resignation is because there's an easy excuse for him. He talks about how much he misses his ex-wife whenever he's on Fox, which is an interesting take. He talks about how hard it is to go to work. Like if you've seen the clip we played it on the show. He complains it like he's in an office. Like that's it. He's like, "I'm in a cubicle and I just see walls around me." It's not like he's in like an asylum. And it's just like all padded white wall and Dan Bongino's in a straight jacket, which, honestly might be good for Dan Bongino and all the conspiracies that he pushes. But he's just upset with the fact that he has to work. So I likely see this as a coming resignation. We also know that there is another deputy director of the FBI. It's not just Bonjour. So it would make sense for him to leave. It would make sense for Trump to attach some of that baggage. Of course, Donald Trump has no loyalty to Dan Bonjour. He's happy to shit on him. But this is a key shakeup to me. It represents that the fracturing is getting deeper. And even though we aren't necessarily talking about the Epstein files, certainly, in my opinion, as much as we should be, the pressure is still felt by the administration. Remember, there is a December 19th deadline that was just enforced, that was just passed through Congress, that was just signed by Donald Trump a few weeks ago. So of course, Pam Bondi is going to be feeling that pressure, and it looks like it's falling on Dan Bongino. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that resignation come a little closer to Christmas, try to hide it in the news cycle, but this is what Donald Trump wants to do. He wants to get rid of anyone who is causing problems with the cover-up, and that looks like it's going to be Dan Bongino. The same guy who essentially admitted to the fact that the FBI has been deeply a part of this cover-up, who had his own emails leaked, talking about how much time was being spent striking Donald Trump's name out of these documents and making sure that they were nice for dear leader. It's not a surprise to me that this is a person who is on their way out for a myriad of reasons. But of course, this is not the only individual engaged in a cover-up right now in Donald Trump's wider administration. And that was all broken down the Hegseth cover-up and the lies that Donald Trump is trying to tell to protect his embattled Secretary of Defense, and this clip right here.
Donald Trump turned himself in as a pathological liar last night. During his first term in the White House, Donald Trump was quoted by unnamed sources who were constantly leaking what Donald Trump was saying in private. And one of the quotes attributed to him was Donald Trump referring to African countries where he has never been, using the worst, dirtiest term he could think of for those countries. It's the kind of language I've heard from hardcore racists my whole life. I knew he was lying in 2018 when he denied using those words. And last night in Pennsylvania, the man who doesn't drink sounded as drunk as the racists you can hear saying things like this in the safety of their neighborhood bars.
Hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators, they came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right?
It's not news that Donald Trump is a racist. It's not news that Donald Trump, who was documented to have told over 30,000 lies in his first term in office, is a pathological liar. It's not news that Donald Trump is a vile, ugly stain on American public life. What we are seeing now is a very sick man in mental and physical deterioration who seems to have no capacity left to remember what he's already lied about, what he's already denied, and has less and less public control over the poisonous racism that seethes inside him and oozes out of him. He is a poison that children should not be exposed to. We don't know much about the oil tanker that Donald Trump seized off the coast of Venezuela today, and it turns out, according to him, he doesn't either.
Can you explain a little more about this Venezuelan oil tanker and share a little more information?
Well, I'll let the people do it, but you see the result, and I guess they probably have released the pictures by now or pretty soon. You'll discuss that with the appropriate people later on, but no, it was seized for a very good reason.
We have never heard what that very good reason was from Donald Trump today. No other president would have treated news like that. No other president would have said, oh, it was a very good reason, and leave it at that. And what about the oil?
What happens to the oil on that ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Donald Trump can't run from this one because Donald Trump has already admitted that Donald Trump saw all of this. I don't know how he can pretend that he wasn't president in the clip when the president says that the president has seen the clip. But he's gonna do his best. This is a classic Trump cover-up, though. This one is not working. Especially because there are some Republicans who are actually taking interest in accountability, which is maybe the biggest surprise in this whole video. But we are gonna keep calling these people out. We are going to keep investigating. We are going to keep pushing back. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you until next time. I'll see you soon.